He was just not getting back to me. I made so many attempts at contact. Messages on Facebook, emails. I even went and confronted his wife at her work to tell her to get him to contact me. He did not respond to anything. So what was I to do from there? I never wanted it to come to this. Follow his wife home from work and go knock on his front door. I always felt a little uneasy with this option, like it never really sat right with me, you know? I just wanted one meet with him, to look him in the eye and say, what the hell do you think you were doing? I was just a child. So, I parked my car outside of his wife's work and I waited patiently, watching every car come out of the gate. I was there for about an hour and there was still no sign of her. And I started thinking to myself that maybe things weren't going to work out like this. But then she walked out. I literally couldn't believe it. I jumped out of my car and I began following her. Not too close. If she was to have seen me, this whole thing would have been over. She turned into a housing estate and I watched her from the corner of the street let herself into her house. So now I had where she lived, which meant I had where he lived. I took a couple of moments to myself and I thought, yes, this is really it. And I knocked on the door and he answered. I was now standing face to face with the man that sexually abused me when I was a child for the first time since it was all going on 25 years ago. He recognised me instantly and went to slam the door shut, but I managed to hold it open and get my foot in front of it. And I looked straight at him. You recognise me, don't you? Did you honestly think that I wouldn't come for you one day? He started shouting,
just go away, go away, go away!
Go away, whilst repeatedly trying to get the door closed, but my foot was firmly placed and the door was going nowhere. So I continued. What were you doing? I was a child, still playing with toys, and you were getting me to suck your dick. And every time I got to the explicit detail, he would shout over me in a panic, trying to drown out my voice. I don't know what you were talking about. Go away. You're trying to blackmail me for money or something. You're making all of this up. I just laughed at him. Whilst this was all going on, his wife was in the background, on the phone to the police, in an absolute panic, screaming screaming that I was trying to break into the house. It must have sounded like chaos on the phone. But I was happy that they were being called. I tried to prosecute this man last year for what he did to me. But it happened so long ago, there wasn't enough evidence, so the case was closed. So for them to call the police and bring their attention back to this situation can only be a good thing. So I continued at the door to say everything that I wanted to say to him. And he was becoming more and more angry that I wouldn't stop. He started shouting to his wife, "Just get a knife, get a knife." He kept repeating it, and I said to him, "Just calm down, will you?" My God, if only I could have shown the police his reactions to me. Pure panic, pure fear. It had guilty written all over it. It didn't take long for the police to arrive. They arrived in force. They jumped out of their cars and they surrounded me. "Can you tell me what's going on here?" And I said, "Yes. That is the man that abused me when I was a child, and I've come to speak to him about it." As soon as I said this, it changed everything. It was like they could see I wasn't there to cause trouble. They went and got statements of both him and his wife, and they both decided to press charges against me. So I was arrested and taken to the station for further questioning. The final offences that I am being charged with are assault on him for pushing the door into him and pushing him in the chest, and stalking and harassment on both of them for the times I've tried to make contact with them over the last 18 months. And now I have to go to court for this. And that is not a good situation to be in. But it is okay. Because I am going to stand in that courtroom and be very open about why I knocked on his front door in the first place. And then he can really begin to see. It doesn't matter what he does now. He cannot get away from this. Because I am going to speak out at every opportunity. And that is his worst nightmare.